Hi, I'm Michael Artsis. This is Sports.com. Thanks for joining us. Joining me via Skype is Gene Fugett. Gene has had a lot of titles, but is currently a board member of the Retired Players. Gene, thanks for joining us. He's keeping us up to date with what's going on with the latest in the collective bargaining agreement talks between the NFL Players Association and the union. A lot has been going on. The teams have been making a lot of moves. The union and the NFL have been in court. So a lot has happened. A lot has changed since we last spoke. These next few days, we'll see a lot of change as well. And I imagine we'll be doing this a lot. We've got 48 hours till the impending lockout. Unless something changes, it looks like the lockout is inevitable at this point. Gene, thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me, Michael. And I think that's an excellent summary. Although you did make one mistake. You said there were talks. I think we should say the lack of talks. You know, they canceled this thing almost a year ago, and they've been able, they could have made proposals anytime they wanted. And they have not made one proposal that's an improvement off the system that we have. Now, if they say the system wasn't working, it had to improve, and you think improve for both parties, and they haven't saw the improvement. So now players have to send money into the union to make sure their kids will be covered by insurance after March 3rd, and that's crazy.
Now, the players have been talking about decertifying. What does that mean exactly?
Well, what that means is when a union comes together, a union can bargain away rights. In other words, under the law, people are guaranteed certain rights. The NFL is a monopoly. So under U.S. law, they cannot get together and have a draft. And they can't get together and decide, we're going to have a salary cap. And they can't get together and decide, okay, I'm going to trade this guy and I'm the only one that has the rights to them. There's no other business in America that's run like that. So if they want to be like this, then we're going to decertify and run like any other business. And the good players will get paid and the bad players won't play. Look, if you're a player, look, you want to earn your money and you want to get a chance to make as much as you can in a system that's free and play anywhere you can. And right now, you got to get everything you can because the owners do not want to bargain with the players. And by asking them to take a pay cut is not bargaining in good faith. That's the only reason they're showing up, is to, you know, make the public think that they're bargaining, but they are not, in my opinion. Now, I'm not there, but I don't think they're bargaining.
Now,
and you got to remember, we got a lot of new owners, Michael. We got owners. We talk about the player reps who haven't been through this. Think about the owners who haven't been through this. And $9 billion, and how many of them are in it for money, and how many are in them are custodians of their team for the game. And it'd be an interesting count.
Well, the game certainly has changed. I think that the majority of the owners have changed, which has changed the feeling of the game. They treat it more like a business, and that's something that genuinely hurts the fans and hurts everybody and leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And I think one example of that is something I wanted to get to, and I'll get to it now because it's an easy segue, and that is the fact that the players aren't the only ones who are going to get hurt here if there is a lockout. The Jets are already saying that they're making mandatory furloughs for the people who are not involved in football operations. So that means the equipment guys, the public relations guys, the public address announcers, the accountants, anybody who works in the front office for the New York Jets will be taking mandatory furloughs starting when the lockout starts. And that hurts those people who work so hard, who work so loyally for those teams, and it hurts their families. And they're not the only team that's going to do this. They're the only team that's been outed so far. There are plenty of other teams that are going to do this and follow suit. And I think that that's disgusting, especially if these teams are going to be making money through television rights and merchandising rights and other ways during this lockout.
Well, Michael, you're preaching to the choir. How can a league so profitable, one of the most profitable leagues in the history of mankind, to this day, to this moment, they refuse to open their books? You know, when the Teamsters negotiate with General Motors says, look, this is all I make, this is all I can pay. The league isn't doing that. We don't even know how much they really make. They say it's $9 billion and they say it's audited, but we really don't know because they don't open their books. So this is not fair. It's never been fair. The only way we've gotten agreements in the past was when we decertified, went to court, and made every NFL player a free agent. And wouldn't that be a great world?
Do you think that decertifying could backfire and hurt the players?
No, no, no.
And then the last question I have for you is there was a victory in court today. I don't know if it'll last, if there'll be an appeal, but apparently the so-called lockout insurance has been stopped, and that would give the owners the revenue of the TV deals.
Yeah, I haven't had the chance to read the decision, but I know that we had gone before the special master. See, we still need court protection because even with an agreement, we couldn't trust the owners. We had an agreement, but we still had to have a special master, the judge who saw the original case in Minnesota, who the owners have tried to knock out 5 times, to overlook them, because if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile, and not caring about safety, the players' families, and the fans, and the cities that invest money and build the stadiums, they don't care. It's 32 people that make that decision, and how much money do they have already?
Gene Fugett, thank you very much for joining us, and I look forward to talking with you throughout this situation as it unfolds through the next few days and obviously through the next few months. Unfortunately, I think it's going to get ugly and go through the court systems and drag out very long. The NFL saying they can withstand 2 full years without NFL football. Pretty amazing.
That's scary because I don't know how many players can. So I guess that means it's going to be a new league. I don't know what that's going to mean. I just feel sorry for the fans, and I'm a fan, so I'm going to have to find something to do this fall, looks like.
Why not start a new league?
Well, somebody will. There's already one already.
Maybe Mark Cuban and Vince McMahon will get together and figure that out.
Don't be surprised.
It'll
believe
be
me.
the
there are
double
a lot of
XFL.
good players out there, and maybe you could have a shrunken down league. It's happened before. I was around USFL, World Football League, all very entertaining. And what happens with the Canadian League that the NFL owns a part of?
All right, Gene, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
All right, Michael, talk to you again soon. Be well.